I've decided me and my boyfriend are probably gonna have to break up. I've just been getting a ton of red flags from him lately, and today was my last straw. He took it upon himself to plan our entire Valentine's Day plans and didn't ask me once, like, what I wanted to do. I was going through his phone to, like, be psycho, and I saw, like, everything that he had planned, and when I saw it, I was disgusted. For starters, the restaurant he booked was 4.9 stars, and if I would have taken Instagram pictures there and my friends looked the place up and saw that, I would have been humiliated, like, 5 stars or nothing. Then I saw he ordered me red roses. Like, how basic can we be? He knows I like pink, he knows I like light purple, like, he just doesn't think about it.
Reason we should revoke the vote number 1. This is not a satire. This incredibly mid young lady is so ignorant, so entitled, so arrogant, and so delusional that she not only thinks these things about her boyfriend's behaviour, but she feels empowered and confident that she can record those thoughts, share them for the world to see, and that the sisterhood will agree with her and support her. Consequently, she should not be allowed anywhere near a ballot box, and she should not be allowed anywhere near any kind of adult rights which require 2 brain cells that you can rub together to create original thought, critical thinking, and non-narcissistic perceptions. Moving on.
One day I woke up and decided that I was going to sell pictures of my melons and my kitty online. Best decision I've ever made. Then I decided that I was going to spend some of the money that I earned on a caravan so that I can travel around Australia while I'm young and just live my absolute best life, making fun adult movies and taking fun adult pictures all around Australia. So yeah.
Reasons to revoke the vote number 2. Well, this young lady is demonstrating that as far as modern women are concerned, and remember, modern women are pathologically immature adult infants and or ideologically possessed by feminist ideology, female supremacists. So what she's demonstrating is that as far as modern women are concerned, the decision-making process for making important life decisions is as follows. Does it feel good? Does it give me pleasure? Does it earn me money? If it does all of those 3 things, then that decision represents living my best life. And she will go ahead and do it with 0 thought of the consequences of that decision. Mainly because, as a modern woman, she is incapable of accountability. So even if the consequences are terrible and negative, which they obviously will be, because that's what happens when at a very young age you decide to be a whore and an online prostitute. So the consequences are going to be terrible. However, as a young modern woman, she is incapable of accountability. So whatever those consequences are, she will blame them on men and thus feel free of guilt and shame and any kind of responsibility for ruining her life. Unfortunately, she's still going to ruin her life. So even though she blames it on men, it makes no difference. And the fact that modern women can do things so moronic, so imbecilic, so idiotic, so retarded, and smile about it and feel good about it is why we need to revoke the vote. Moving on.
I'm in front of my car is fucked. My life is over!
This lady had a tantrum after a minor traffic crash.
Officer, I have to go!
You can't leave yet. Don't leave!
I'm in the middle of an order! I have food in my car! I have food in my car!
From what I gathered is she rear-ended him because he was sitting on a light that was green and then
She started screaming and running away from the cops. Then she began calling someone to come help her.
Get here now, these cops they're pinning me to a corner.
Ma'am, we're trying to gather information so we can get you out of here.
Please get here, please! The cops are trying to arrest me!
Kayla, we're not here to arrest you.
The officers spent a long time dealing with her.
I'm so I can't fix this! I can't fix this! Oh my god, oh my god,
Do you have insurance?
I'm not giving you anything.
Alright, well, we'll just give her a citation for no proof of insurance.
Okay, give me a citation, I don't care.
That's fine.
What am I getting a citation for?
I'll re-explain it to you. I'm not going to sit here and debate with you.
Eventually their patience ran out and they drove off. The woman was charged with disorderly conduct for her behavior.
Reason number 3 we need to revoke the vote. Karens exist. Now, you may have noticed that there's no such thing as a male Karen. And that is why we need to revoke the vote. Because it's not to say that there aren't men who are adult infants. There are. However, when a man is an adult infant, which is what a Karen is, they are not enabled and empowered to continue being an adult infant. When a man is an adult infant, he becomes a loser. He loses his job, he gets beaten up, he gets mocked, the state doesn't support him, so he ends up maybe being homeless or just, weighing 300 pounds, living in his mum's basement on Reddit all day. So when a man is an adult infant, he becomes an online troll, an overweight, stinky, incel online troll. That's what an adult infant who's a man becomes. But an adult infant who's a woman is enabled by the entire culture and by weak men who will not only have sex with her, but in many cases marry her, allow her to have children that are going to be traumatized and abused, and enable her to go around wreaking havoc on innocent people because she is a 3-year-old king baby tyrant that knows only one way of engaging with other people, which is to throw a tantrum until she gets what she wants or she gets sent to bed without any food. We enable female adult infants, and that is why there's no such thing as a male Karen. Male adult infants are only seen trolling people in Reddit and on online comments. That is the effect they have on the world. Easily ignored. Karens, there are a ton of videos on the internet where they show a dozen Karens in each video, and they produce these videos daily. So daily, there are maybe 100 different channels. All they do is show Karens, and every single day they can show you 12 Karens. Every single day, 100 channels. That shows you how many women have been enabled to be king baby, temper tantrum, tyrant toddlers, to walk around, have children, vote, engage in public life, while they are 3-year-old babies. And we need to revoke the vote. So let me just make this point. For a woman to reach that age, acting like that, what that means is that throughout her whole life, from the time she was a child, she's been spoilt. No one has held her accountable for her behavior, and she has never had to face the consequences of her behavior. That is what creates a Karen. Make no mistake. Bad parenting that spoiled her and let her, and I would say it's from the time she was literally a toddler. From the time she was a toddler, when she screamed and shouted and threw tantrums, her parents, her weak father or her absent father and her single mother, gave her whatever she wanted. So she was completely spoilt as a child. And remember, the word spoilt, it's like milk that has gone rancid. And that is exactly what happens to a child when you give in to their temper tantrums. They become a rancid human being. Karens are rancid human beings, and they are created in childhood. And then what happens is that basically girls, teenage girls, no one ever says anything to girls. Girls are allowed to do whatever they want because women are superior. Women are made of sugar and spice and all things nice. And you've got to be nice to women. You've got to be loving to women. You've got to be kind to women. You've got to support women. You've got to believe all women. You've got to empower women. So a rancid human being, because they have a vagina, is never held accountable for her rancid behavior. and goes through her teenage years. Men want to fuck her, so they're not going to say anything. They want to fuck her, so they're not going to hold her accountable. Weak men, desperate men, simps. Then she gets into her 20s, she gets ran through, she gets pumped and dumped, so she accrues trauma, she accrues multiple men's semen, which get into her soft tissue and drive her crazy. So she's a crazy, traumatized, spoilt, tyrant toddler. Ta-da! And there we have the creation of a Karen. And we allow them to vote. I'm sorry, I don't think so. We need to revoke the vote. Moving on.
They cannot be serious. This couple decided to take out their friend for her birthday, and not only did this video go viral for how ungrateful she was, but her and her friends left this man with a hefty bill.
Dave, I'm sorry, you're the only man at this table. Why would you accept for checks? But it's all women here. You got a check.
But I'm not responsible for paying everybody. I got the birthday girl.
But you invited everybody. You invited all of us.
I didn't invite you.
No, because I'm saying that's ghetto. Like, you don't come to no establishment like that talking about splitting.
The fact that she's defending the broke friends instead of defending the people who actually invited her really shows that she never valued the friendship from the beginning, and she was obviously just there for the free food.
I don't do that. I don't split checks. That's really the podcast.
Reason number 4 we need to revoke the vote. Modern women, adult, infant, female supremacists see men as walking ATMs or walking wallets. This woman whose birthday it was invited a bunch of her friends, knowing that her friend's husband was going to pay for her and his wife, and just assumed that he would pay for the extra people she invited and he knew nothing about. That's what happened in this situation. And when he pointed out, well, I'm happy to pay for you because it's your birthday, and I'm happy to pay for my wife because she's my wife, but I'm not going to pay for a bunch of complete strangers. That's what happened. And see their reaction? Sign language, shame, insult, guilt, the need to be right. They tried to shame him for not paying the bill for them because he's a man and they're women. And because he's a man and therefore inferior, because they're all feminists, black women in America are all feminists, whether they know it or not. They have, more than any other type of woman in the world, they have internalized the second wave feminist message that a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. It's black women more than any other women that say, I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. And so that, as I said, that's female supremacy. So they are the worst female supremacists, and supremacy leads to entitlement. The word entitlement comes from having a title. In other words, the aristocracy. For thousands of years, the aristocracy saw themselves as superior to the peasants and everybody else. And they were entitled to deference and worship and servitude. And that is exactly what modern women who are female supremacists feel about men. They felt entitled to run up a massive, apparently the bill was like 1,500 quid, run up a massive bill at a posh restaurant because they assumed they could shame the man into paying for all of them. I don't split bills. Revoke the vote! Quickly!
Are women specifically overall, not just one woman individually, how are they oppressed in today's society?
I mean anything.
Can you drive?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to have a credit card?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to buy a house?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to work a job?
Yeah.
Aren't those all the same things that men can do?
No, because men can go out without being catcalled. Men don't have to worry about their safety as much. Men can basically walk around doing whatever the fuck they want, and women have to worry about everything on the goddamn planet.
That's actually not true. What was that statistic that we brought up?
Over 80% of violent crime in the country happens to men.
And who set that system up?
Look up the statistic.
Okay, awesome. I gotta go.
Reason number 6, I believe, to revoke the vote. Modern women feel that they can believe whatever they want, and regardless of whether or not what they believe is true, even if it is debunked using reason, critical thinking, evidence, facts, even if it's debunked, they simply cannot be wrong. They are never wrong. They can't take accountability, so they can't be wrong. So they will believe absolute nonsense, such as woke, And when it's pointed out that what they believe is nonsense, they'll simply run away. They'll just run away, call you names and run away. What group of human beings indulge in calling people names and running away when they're proved to be wrong? That would be children, wouldn't it? That would be children in a playground. And that's what these modern women are, and that's why we should revoke the vote.
Valentine's? Wait, what did you end up doing for Valentine's Day?
I actually got a bite to eat with clicks.
You're joking, right?
No. Is that a bad thing?
Is that a bad thing?
Yes.
We've literally been dating for 5 months and you're gonna go out to eat with another guy on Valentine's Day?
He's just a friend. And to be fair, you didn't want to spend any time with me on Valentine's anyways. You'd rather play console cash cup that you didn't qual for.
The next clip was a girl who has decided that she's going to go out with a quote-unquote friend on Valentine's Day to punish her boyfriend. So the playing the victim while acting the villain is reason number 7 that we need to revoke the vote. That's something women do all the time. They do wrong, they do bad behavior, and their defense is that they were victimized, and that's why they're doing it. So they justify bad behavior by playing the victim. Revoke the vote immediately, emergency. Moving on.
A 13-year-old boy found out that his mom has an OnlyFans account. He showed up to school one day and boys in his class showed him naked photos of his mom. This made him depressed and suicidal. In a post he wrote, "The worst part is, when I confronted my mom about it, she said that I was overreacting and that sex work is basically the same thing as working in a bank or a grocery store." The boy ended it by saying, "I've been crying every day in my room for the past week. I don't think I can take it anymore." Sadly, this could be the reality for many kids in the future, because our culture has created a narrative that says that selling your body is empowering and posting your graphic images on sites like OnlyFans doesn't harm anyone.
Gal's like, I want to make it. I'm just going to make it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Like, life isn't that serious. Life is so short. Do what you want to do. If it makes you happy, do it.
Doing has massive consequences, not just for the individuals, but for their future or current families as well. Once it's online, it lives there forever, which not everyone seems to understand.
I was big enough to where my pornography is going to be out there.
You can get it taken down very easily.
You can't.
Yes, you can. 100% you can.
Don't buy the lie that OnlyFans is selling you.
Now, my regular viewers will know that my revoke the vote strategy for saving Western civilization, even though it's too late, also involves not just revoking the vote, but also preventing women from having sex before marriage, preventing women from having a bank account or working in environments with men, and also making sure that if a woman is married and does have kids and does divorce, I'm going to allow divorce because not no-fault divorce, and I'm going to change all the laws around, the money and all that stuff. But, a woman might have an abusive husband, and if she has an abusive husband, she needs to leave. So we must give women the right to divorce their husbands if they're bad husbands. No problem with that. However, in every case, the children go to the father because the statistics prove single mothers, certainly modern single mothers, cannot raise children into adulthood because they're not adults. They cannot raise responsible human beings because the children of single mothers are X times more likely to run away from home, become drug addicts, become prostitutes, become criminals, and kill themselves. X times more likely, 5, 9, 10, 15, 20 times more likely than the children of single fathers. So that just proves what I'm saying. Children cannot raise children, and modern women are children. So, and this specific instance is a perfect example. So, like the second woman who was just going to ride around in her van, a caravan in Australia, whoring herself out and filming it and living her best life, these modern women don't think about the consequences for themselves, or worse, for their own children. For their own children. So you've got a bunch of single mothers making money by whoring themselves out. And men have been saying for ages, there is an epidemic of young boys committing suicide because They went to school and other boys had seen porn images and films of their mothers, and as boys will do, mercilessly mock them. Boys will mock other boys about their mums, even when their mums don't do anything. Jesus Christ Almighty God. Can you imagine being a boy that goes to school and other boys showing you videos of your mum getting her back blown out? Can you imagine? I'm absolutely serious about this. There is an epidemic of teenage boys committing suicide right on the horizon, and it's because of unbelievably selfish, self-centered, wicked modern women who, just because it feels good, just because they get pleasure from it, and just because it pays well, feel justified in whoring themselves out. And when their son comes to them and says, "Mum, please stop, I'm suicidal," their response is, "You're overreacting." I would put her in prison, let alone revoke the vote. But we have to start somewhere. So let's get rid of the vote. Let's prevent these women from having sex and having children out of wedlock. And let's prevent this level of child abuse from occurring. Moving on.
What do your daughters think about what you say about women? Or do they agree with you?
Yes, they do. And they don't agree with me because I'm their father. I believe they should be an independent thinker. But I also don't want my daughters out here walking the street with tights on and a halter just so men can walk around or drive by and bump their horn at them and whistle them.
So is it their fault or is it the men's fault for sexualizing them?
It is the nature of a man to be attracted to a woman who hardly have anything on.
Tights and a halter top?
Yes. Let's be real.
So then, I'm just trying to think, if I choose to dress today and have on a tights and a halter top, and a man honks at me, it's my fault.
It's the fault of both. If you dressed in a way, you don't believe that a woman can dress in a way that can lure a man to him?
That's just like saying if a woman puts on a tight dress, she deserves to get raped.
No, that is not saying that. Yeah. Because regardless of what a person wears, they don't deserve to get raped. But at the same time, let me make this example.
Please.
There are some men that drive a very fashionable car and look a certain way. And sometimes that look attracts certain women. There are certain looks that a woman can have on that make her appear that attract certain men. That's just a fact.
Reason number whatever, I've lost count. Reason number whatever that we need to revoke the vote. This level of irresponsibility from a grown-ass woman who feels, because she's a female supremacist and an adult infant, that I can behave in any way that I like and I should not face any negative consequences. It's always men's fault. So I could walk down the street with booty shorts, pulled up my arse crack, and a string just about covering my nipples, with a big old arse and big old titties. I should be able to walk down the street, and if men catcall me, I haven't done anything wrong. It's their fault. They shouldn't be catcalling me. They shouldn't be sexualizing me. They shouldn't be objectifying me. Even though I'm not wearing any clothes and men are biologically programmed to be attracted to a woman's body, especially if they can see it in all its glory. Even though men are biologically programmed and they cannot help but look, they cannot help but desire you, they cannot help, if you're attractive, but want to fuck you. They literally cannot help it. Now, most men will look and that will be the end of it. A proportion of men will catcall and say something, and a proportion of men will approach you and try to get your number and try to move things forward so that they can fuck you. And a very, very small number of men might rape you. Now, that class of men, then it isn't your fault, because you can never be responsible for somebody else acting violently towards you. However, you can be responsible for triggering a natural instinct inbuilt into other human beings, such as attraction, sexualization, and desire. You know perfectly well the effect your body has on men because you've had sex. You've been in sexual situations with men, so you know what men want to do to you. You know what they think about your body. You know. So if you walk down the street showing it off, you are responsible for all the results you get short of sexual assault. And that is obvious. Women have known that since the beginning of time. It's only modern women that feel so superior and so entitled that they feel they should be allowed to do what women since the beginning of time have known they shouldn't do and don't even want to do because it's so dangerous. You should be allowed to do it and have no consequences. Take no accountability, just blame the men. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.